What were you thinking? Chapter 5. This is, am I going to heaven, hell, or the next Guggenheim? The title is a bit of a mouthful. The Guggenheim reference was really from my first encounter with the stone as it was coming off of the truck. The gold, this kind of tannish, I looked at and it reminded me of a lot of the Frank Gehry sculpts, buildings, structures, and I've been a fan of his for a while. But taking a quick look at it, I found a quarry fault running through here. So that made making something in this area problematic. So I put it aside for a while. And then one day, I had an urge to make arrows. And I've made arrows in the past. Kind of, it's a little homage to Paul Klee. In some of his pieces, there are arrows. In an early Duchamp piece, there are arrows indicating motion, which was actually his invention. So I just needed to make some arrows. It was just one of those days. And I go out looking and I find this kind of more layered piece than I normally work with. But I utilize them, to make one arrow pointing up, another arrow pointing down, and that gave you the heaven or hell destinations. And then getting back into the Frank Gehry building structure, I went and worked this portion of the piece out. Now I still had to unite them, because they're almost two separate pieces. These are, arrows, and this is, building structures. So I had this white kind of cloudy layer between the two. And I started working with that just to kind of guide one section into another at first. But then I'm working over here, and this started coming up. It was actually a lot smaller when I first found it. And as I was working the surface down, rather than get smaller, it kept getting bigger. So I've got, and you almost can't help but see that as some form of eye. When it's smaller, now it's been elongated. So I'm looking at it as an eye, as I'm working on it, and start to structure the white, this kind of cloudy piece around it, into two abstract faces, one looking one way, another looking another way. And that's when the title came to be. This is really the central part of the sculpture. Am I looking at going to heaven, hell, or the next Guggenheim? So this has been a favorite piece of mine for a while. Kind of difficult to take a photograph of, and this isn't going to be a great representation of the piece either. But you get the general idea. So this has been another installation of What Were You Thinking?